From ancient Sparta to modern-day struggles, Assassin's Creed heroes have shaped history in unforgettable ways. But what became of them once their stories ended? Join us as we journey through time to uncover the fates, legacies, and hidden chapters of these iconic assassins and find out how their lives continued long after the last memory faded. Let's start with a warrior whose story spans millennia like no other. Cassandra of Sparta. Cassandra is not just a mercenary from ancient Greece. She's the only canonical protagonist of Assassin's Creed Odyssey and the keeper of the staff of Hermes Trismegistus, giving her near immortality. Sounds like the plot of a mythology epic, but it's real canon. For over 2,400 years, Cassandra carries the staff, living through untold centuries mostly in secret, watching history unfold while remaining hidden. She's seen empires rise and fall firsthand, from Alexander the Great's conquests to the distant modern age, which is as lonely and exhausting as it sounds. Before you think the game's choice just lets players pick a character, official Ubisoft sources clarify that Cassandra's journey is the true timeline, not Alexios's. This is backed by expanded media like the Odyssey novel and modern Animus storylines, where Cassandra's memories guide Layla Hassan in 2018. That year, Cassandra finally passes the staff to Layla, choosing to end her immortal watch and accept a mortal death for the first time in millennia. Here's the thing. Cassandra's fate is unique among Assassin's Creed heroes because her story literally bridges ancient Greece and the present. Her prolonged existence isn't just background flavor, it drives the modern-day narrative's core. This raises questions about what it means to carry such power for so long, the weight of endless time on one person's psyche, and the bittersweet decision to let go of godlike strength for a finite human life. While most protagonists fade into history, Cassandra's legacy endures as a linchpin connecting past and present. She is the living thread that ties Assassin's Creed's ancient mysteries straight through to now. But if you think an immortal Greek mercenary's fate is wild, wait until we dive into the story of Bayek of Siwa. Bayek of Siwa. Bayek isn't just your typical ancient hero. He's the guy who helped lay the foundation for the Assassin Brotherhood itself, back in Ptolemaic Egypt. Alongside his wife Aya, Bayek co-founded the Hidden Ones, a secretive group committed to fighting tyranny and protecting free will long before the Brotherhood became what we know today. His story in Assassin's Creed Origins is all about revenge, justice, and the birth of a movement that would echo through history. But here's where it gets weird. After Origins and the expansions wrap up, Bayek's later years go largely unrecorded. We know his tomb and mummified remains are eventually found near Siwa centuries later, so he clearly received a burial, but no game or novel ever shows us how he died or what his final years looked like. It's like he deliberately chose to fade into the shadows. Considering he founded a legendary order, you'd expect the guy's name etched in every Assassin's Hall of Fame, but instead, Bayek opts for a low-profile legacy. The big takeaway? Bayek cares more about the cause than personal glory. He hands off the dangerous Apple of Eden, not to a fellow assassin, but to a thief named Sutek, with explicit instructions to hide it forever. This shows just how cautious he was about Isu artifacts and their potential for disaster. The community has been buzzing for years, speculating about how Bayek died. Assassinated? Retired quietly? Nobody knows. And that's exactly the point. Ubisoft left his fate intentionally mysterious, reinforcing the idea that sometimes founding a movement means acting without fanfare and then disappearing. The evidence for his role as co-founder is rock solid, but his later life is deliberately thin on details, adding this narrative layer of mystery that's as fascinating as any epic battle. But if you think Bayek's quiet exit is odd, wait until you hear about Altair's dramatic life and death next. Altair ibn Lahad. Altair's story didn't end with the original Assassin's Creed credits. It was just the start of his transformation from a cocky assassin into the wise mentor of the Levantine Brotherhood, a role he held for over 6 decades, from 1191 until his death in 1257. During that time, Altair didn't just hunt Templars, he expanded the assassin's reach across continents and reshaped the Brotherhood into a powerful force no one expected. Here's where it gets really interesting. Altair built a secret vault beneath Masyaf Castle, which became the legendary Masyaf Library. This wasn't just a hidden stash, it was a fortress of assassin knowledge, packed with manuscripts, artifacts, and the ominous Apple of Eden, all locked away from prying eyes. Altair spent his final days there, dying of natural causes in solitude, seated with the apple by his side. That quiet death inside the secret chamber is one of Assassin's Creed's most iconic moments, cementing his legacy as a guardian of assassin history and a man who accepted the weight of his actions. But Altair's path wasn't smooth. His leadership was rocked by betrayal from Abbas Sofyan, a high-ranking assassin who tried to overthrow him. This cut deep and almost tore the order apart. Although Altair's sons, Daram and Sef, had roles in the Brotherhood's story, Abbas was the real threat. Still, Altair reclaimed control and refocused the Brotherhood, teaching hard lessons about loyalty and sacrifice. The real magic? Altair's legacy stretched centuries into the future, passed down through memories found by Ezio Auditore. These memories and the vault's keys let Ezio unlock Altair's wisdom and keep the fight alive, linking the two masters across time. It's a perfect example of the series' theme, how ideas outlive their creators and shape generations. Altair didn't just disappear, he became the solemn sage, keeper of secrets, and architect of assassin survival. Next, we jump centuries ahead to the Renaissance and meet Ezio Auditore da Firenze, the man who discovered Altair's vault and practically rewrote assassin history. Ezio Auditore da Firenze is easily the most iconic assassin in the entire franchise. But here's the twist. After decades of bloody vendettas, political intrigue, and brutal battles, his story ends not with a grand war or violent death, but with peace, family, and quiet reflection. Before you write that off as boring, hear me out. Ezio's journey, from reckless youth in 1459 Florence to wise mentor of the Italian Brotherhood, is one of transformation. He reclaims his family's honor, dismantles Templar influence across Renaissance Italy, and even unites the scattered pages of Altair's ancient codex, bridging centuries of assassin lore. Then after years of fighting, around 1513, Ezio walks away from the shadows. Unlike many heroes who die in battle or disappear mysteriously, his retirement is well documented. He settles into a calm Tuscan villa with Sofia Sartor, his beloved wife, and raises two children, Flavia and Marcello. This domestic chapter offers a rare glimpse of normalcy in a chaotic world. The 2012 animated short Assassin's Creed Embers shows his final moments, a rare peaceful ending for an assassin protagonist. At age 65, in 1524, Ezio quietly enjoys a day in Florence with Sofia and his daughter. Suddenly, he suffers a fatal heart event, dying peacefully on a cafe bench, surrounded not by enemies, but by everyday life. He leaves Sofia a letter full of reflections on liberty, love, and the preciousness of time, truths he only fully grasped later in life. Here's where it gets poetic. Ezio's death avoids spectacle or drama. It's both simple and profound. His quiet passing symbolizes his complete evolution, from vengeance-driven youth to a man who embraced the Brotherhood's philosophy beyond the blade. Plus, his role in uniting Altair's codex means his influence echoes beyond death, making him the Brotherhood's philosophical heart and a key ancestor whose memories reach future generations, including Desmond Miles. Ezio's story is one of the rare assassin arcs wrapped with dignity. His legacy lives not only in the Brotherhood's fight, but in the peaceful life he built. That contrast, violent beginnings leading to serene ends, is what makes his fate so memorable. But if you think Ezio's long, peaceful retirement is the ultimate endgame, wait until you hear what happened to pirate-turned-assassin Edward Kenway. Edward Kenway's story is one of transformation and tragic irony wrapped in the rough seas of the early 1700s Caribbean. He starts off as a privateer, a kind of government-sanctioned pirate, but quickly slides deeper into the life of piracy, chasing gold and glory with little care for causes or creeds. However, as his journey progresses, Edward reluctantly embraces the assassin path, learning that there's more at stake than treasure and personal freedom. By the end of Assassin's Creed IV, Black Flag, he's not just a pirate with a hidden blade, he becomes a key figure in the Assassin Brotherhood. After years of Caribbean swashbuckling, Edward settles down in London, a far cry from his chaotic life at sea. There he obtains a pardon from the government, marries Tessa Stevenson Oakley, and fathers a son, Haytham Kenway. Edward tries to leave his rogue days behind and pass on assassin ideals to Haytham, training him in the arts of the Creed. But here's where it gets dark. In 1735, Edward's life violently ends when mercenaries, hired by the Templar Grand Master Reginald Birch, attack his family estate, searching for Edward's personal journal filled with assassin secrets. Edward is killed during the raid, leaving his family shattered. This brutal event is dramatized in the novel Assassin's Creed, Forsaken, which reveals the depth of Edward's failure to protect his kin. Haytham witnesses his father's murder and narrowly escapes with his sister, who survives the assault but is later abducted. This trauma catapults Haytham away from the assassin teachings and directly into Templar hands, where he becomes one of their most formidable champions. The cruel irony is undeniable. Edward's hopes of securing a loyal assassin legacy through his son are shattered, and instead he inadvertently fathers a powerful Templar enemy. Edward Kenway's legacy is complicated. He serves as a link between the chaotic pirate era and the more organized British Brotherhood, embodying both the freedom and recklessness that distinguished early assassins. Communities still debate whether his dual identity, as both pirate and assassin, means he ever truly succeeded in the creed, and whether his assassin training was ultimately a failed gamble. But the canon evidence is rock solid, drawn from the game, expanded novels, and lore entries that detail his rise, his London life, and the tragic violence that closed his chapter. If you thought Edward's story was tangled, wait until you hear about the man who betrayed the Brotherhood from within, Shay Patrick Cormac. Shay Patrick Cormac. Shay Patrick Cormac is easily one of Assassin's Creed's most divisive figures, the assassin who turned Templar and the man whose actions literally rocked the world. Before you write him off as just a traitor, hear me out. Shay's defection wasn't born from blind betrayal, but from witnessing the Brotherhood's reckless obsession with power after triggering the devastating 1755 Lisbon earthquake. That earthquake wasn't a natural disaster. It was sparked when Shay stole a dangerous Isu artifact from a hidden temple under the city. Thousands died or were displaced, all because the assassins were chasing power without care for consequences. Official lore confirms that after this catastrophe, Shay turned his back on the Brotherhood's cause and joined the Templar Order, convinced their philosophy was the only way to prevent such recklessness. Under mentor Haytham Kenway, he hunts down former assassin allies across Europe and America, dismantling their networks. Shay's pursuit of his ex-comrades culminates in the 1776 killing of Charles Dorian at Versailles, a brutal act that indirectly orphaned Arnaud Dorian, the future assassin protagonist, forever linking Shay's vendettas to wider series history. But Shay didn't just stop there. He remained staunchly loyal to the Templar cause for the rest of his life, continuing to search for Isu artifacts on their behalf. Details about his final years are murky, and exactly how and where he died remains one of Assassin's Creed's more unfinished chapters. What we do know is that he never renounced his Templar ideals or returned to the Brotherhood. Community debate around Shay is heated. Some see him as a principled whistleblower, exposing assassin fanaticism gone too far. Others view him as the ultimate traitor who murdered old allies and tore the Brotherhood from within. Did he ever regret turning his back on the creed? Canonical texts remain silent on this, fueling endless fan theories and moral grappling. What is crystal clear is the massive long shadow Shay cast across both assassin and Templar history, reshaping allegiances and spreading consequences from Lisbon to revolutionary France and beyond. But if you thought Shay's betrayal was complicated, wait until you hear what comes next about a certain indigenous assassin with an equally tangled family legacy. Raton Nyake Ton. Connor is a fascinating figure who lives largely in the shadows after the American Revolution, despite being one of the series' most pivotal heroes. Born as Raton Ton to Haytham Kenway and a Native American mother, he was raised among the Kanyankahaka and became a symbol bridging assassin and Templar bloodlines. But here's the thing. Beyond the revolution, what happens to him is mostly mystery wrapped in silence. Before you roll your eyes thinking Ubisoft just forgot about him, hear me out. The game shows Connor fighting for his people's land and justice during and after the war, but official sources deliberately keep his later life vague. Canon simply says he continued assassin work in the shadows, helping secure territory and protect his tribe, but there's no detailed story or documented death. It's like the franchise quietly let him slip off the stage. Here's where it gets a bit melancholy. Fans have pieced together scattered clues and gravitated toward the theory that Connor died alone, forgotten by history, the ultimate tragic assassin fading into obscurity. This theory isn't confirmed by any official novels or games, but it's powerful. The idea of a heroic figure so central during such a bloody revolution quietly disappearing without grand fanfare or a noble end hits differently than a climactic death scene. It's the kind of ending that makes you think about how many real historical heroes get lost to time. The lack of formal narrative closure also fuels frustration. Compared to Ezio's richly detailed family life and peaceful death, or Edward Kenway's tragic murder, Connor's story feels underdeveloped, deservedly significant but underexplored. His place in the modern day as Desmond's ancestor gives him lasting importance, but the man himself remains an enigma. Players are left to fill in the blanks, debating whether he found peace or if the fight never really ended. Ultimately, Ratenhnake Tun embodies a rare kind of assassin, one who wins battles but quietly vanishes from history's spotlight. His legacy lives on in blood and memory, but his fate reminds us that not every hero gets a heroic goodbye. But if you think fading away is sad, wait until you hear what happened to Arnaud Dorian. Arnaud Dorian's story is a wild ride through the chaos of the French Revolution, only with hidden blades, secret societies, and a lot of personal drama. Orphaned young, he's adopted by the charming but corrupt Francois de la Serre, which drags him into the deadly feud between assassins and Templars in revolutionary France. Early on, his assassin mentor pushes him toward redemption after tragedy, but there's no neat hero cleans his slate moment when he first wields the hidden blade. It's the classic troubled origin, but darker and more tangled. Before you dismiss Arnaud as just another brooding assassin, hear me out. His journey is messy. After dismantling Germain's inner circle and killing Germain himself, Arnaud wrestles with grief and guilt. Canonically, his obsession with vengeance gets him formally expelled from the Brotherhood at one point, and Elise pulls away from him too. Their complicated relationship fuels much of his emotional turmoil. His response is bitter despair and recklessness, not a spiral into alcoholism, but an emotional, not just official, fall from grace. Here's where it gets brutal. Elise dies in the final fight with Germain inside the temple. Not the Bastille temple, just the temple. Her death hits Arnaud hard, fueling his quest for justice rather than crushing him. He's eventually welcomed back into the Brotherhood and rises to the rank of Master Assassin, scarred but unbroken. Arnaud's legacy lives on in the Assassin's Creed universe. His genetic memories are still hunted by Abstergo and the Initiates, keeping his story alive in the modern-day fight. But here's the kicker. Some fans think Arnaud's emotional struggles, especially around Elise's death, deserved more screen time. Others argue his growth feels rushed, and his fate after the revolution left vague on purpose, sparking endless fan theories. So, Arnaud's saga is all heartbreak and grit, messy, flawed, but unforgettable in Brotherhood history. Next up, we'll dive into the life and legacy of the franchise's modern-day linchpin, Desmond Miles. Desmond Miles. Desmond Miles is the heart of the modern Assassin's Creed saga, the guy who dragged us into the Animus and made ancient history feel dangerously relevant. His whole role was reliving the memories of famous assassin ancestors, Altair, Ezio, Connor, to stop catastrophic disasters in the present, but his story doesn't just end after he saves the world, it turns into something far stranger. In 2012, Desmond sacrifices himself by activating an ancient Isu device inside the Grand Temple to deflect a solar flare that would have wiped out humanity. That moment marks the end of his physical life, a heroic death that saves the planet but leaves his body lifeless. So you'd think that's the end for Desmond, right? Turns out no. Evidence suggests his consciousness didn't vanish with his body. Instead, Desmond's mind somehow persists digitally as the reader, an entity inside a vast Isu simulation guiding Layla Hassan, the modern-day assassin who picks up the torch. This isn't just theory. Hidden audio files, narrative hints in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, an official storytelling point to Desmond becoming an immortal digital guardian. He's less a man now, and more a database of memories and knowledge, helping fight new threats from a shadowy digital realm called the Grey. What makes Desmond unique is he's the genetic link connecting every major assassin we've played. His DNA carries the legacies of all those ancestors, making him the ultimate bridge between past and future. Even after death, he keeps the fight going, not as flesh and blood, but as an incorporeal presence deeply woven into the ongoing story. Meanwhile, the Templars haven't given up. After his death, Abstergo continues mining his memories and genetic data to fuel their sinister Animus projects. So even beyond his sacrifice, Desmond remains a contested prize in this endless war. Community debates about Desmond's fate remain lively. Some fans hope for his physical resurrection someday, while others embrace his role as the ethereal reader, a heroic echo living on inside machines. Both have merit. Canon confirms his death, but only hints at his digital survival. Here's the thing, Desmond's ending is both an end and a beginning. His sacrifice closed a chapter but opened the door to a new kind of existence. He went from assassin bartender to planet-saving martyr to timeless digital sentinel, forever connecting every thread of the assassin legacy. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, click the video on the screen now.